This month, I'm doing a Pokemon challenge.
Pokemon is notorious with that. Like, it's... Well, he's dead. What the fuck?
No, not that kind of challenge. An art challenge. I call it Pokemay. Every day of the month May, I'll be drawing a brand new Pokemon. You know what they say, a Pokemon a day keeps the women away. And I need to protect myself. Is it a good idea to do this hard of a Pokemon challenge on the busiest months of my school year? No! Each day I'll be designing a new Pokemon based on these daily prompts. All inspired by countries of the world. If you find this interesting, it's never too late to join in too. In this video I'll be showcasing all the Pokemon from May 1st to May 5th. So let's get started. For the first day of Pokemay, what better country to start with than the USA? USA! USA! America first, after all? Well, the first thing I thought of when thinking about an American Pokemon was the Statue of Liberty. But then I had a better idea and then I decided to draw a cactus cowboy instead. This idea randomly popped into my head and I was immediately enticed to make it. For this design to work, I needed it to have a pretty basic body. I planned on giving it quite a few spikes and details, so to avoid the design becoming too cluttered, I kept the main body simple. Just a cactus-like ball that would serve as an excellent blank canvas to make my cowboy cactus. I had this idea of using the flowers of a cactus to insinuate the head of a cowboy. We've had a few cactus Pokemon so far, so the focus on this flower would help it stand out from the crowd. This hat would get the shape of a star, with 5 pointy petals, just like a sheriff's badge. It's a pretty subtle detail that once you notice really enriches the design in my mind. And it's the kind of design aspect that helps most Pokemon feel more unique. Like I said, I wanted a lot of spikes for this design, because obviously it's a cactus. I used these spikes to mimic the stereotypical outfit of cowboys, giving it a belt, and those weird strips below the arms and on the back of their boots that they had for some reason. And of course, a badge. His arms are spike cannons. He can shoot spikes from his body like a gun, because that's just hella cool. I ended up really falling in love with this design, honestly. It's pretty cool. I'm also glad it doesn't resemble Cacturne in any way. That was a mild fear I had when designing it, but in the end I actually think they look more like fun rivals. With my Pokemon constantly hunting down Cacturne for being a dark type thief. Also, fun fact, as a kid I always thought that Cacnea was actually the evolved form of Cacturne. He just kind of looked like the bigger guy here, you know? This town ain't big enough for the both of us. Westing. From Western and Sting.
Westing, the Sheriff Pokemon, a grass and fighting type. Westing roam the deserts to the west of the Unova region. They have a prickly personality and are quick to draw when face to face with injustice. A Westing can shoot a spike from its body with perfect aim. They are able to hit a Durant from 3 miles away.
Westing ended up being the best design of this week in my opinion. I had the most time to work on it, so it feels like the most well-developed design. It also gets a brand new move, Sharp Shot. Get it? This attack deals double damage if it hits first and never misses. Day 2 of Pokemay was all about Japan. Of course Japan gets to go second. They invented Pokemon. Please uninvent it. This was also the first of presumably many days this challenge came to bite me in the proverbial bug butt. I had to rush out this design so I could finish it because I had plans that evening. I wouldn't say this design turned out underbaked, but it certainly didn't live up to my usual polish I'm looking for. Whatever, that's part of the course with this challenge. For Japan, I had a bit of a brain wrecking, which ended up giving me the idea to make a kitsune samurai inspired by a yokai. The most Japanese thing one can imagine. I took inspiration from female samurai. They were expected to serve more as mothers than as warriors. They stayed at home and did things like caring for the kids, cooking meals, brutally beheading any enemies which tried to trespass and kill her family. You know, basic mother stuff. This would pair well with kitsunes, trickster yokai who often shapeshift into women to seduce and kill men. This Pokemon's just the ultimate package of waifu material, I guess. But I wasn't satisfied with that yet. I also ended up weaving in the Mykubi. Mykubi? A yokai which, get this, is 3 floating heads of samurais attached to each other, spinning above a lake, trying to bite each other, while spitting fire. And that's one of the more normal yokai. This is some Adventure Time bullcrap. I gave Kitsurai 3 masks with different expressions. A glad one, a sad one, and a mad one, which you can't see in the art. I used the Kitsune ID to tie a lot of these inspirations together. Its dress is made of foxtails, and its sword is made of fire! I'm not very happy with how the flame sword ended up looking, honestly. I didn't get to flesh out the rendering and shaping the way I wanted to, so it's not as cool looking as I had hoped. The rest of this design does work in my opinion. Even if it could have been better, I'm happy with the ideas at play and the elements that make it unique. From Kitsune and Samurai.
Kitsurai, the rodent Pokemon. A fire fairy type. Kitsurai are known to wander north of the Johto region. Coming across them is dangerous because their cruel idea of a prank is stabbing you with fire. Legends speak of Kitsurai shapeshifting into important political figures to gain power, and more importantly, cause chaos and destruction.
Kitsurai's shiny did end up looking pretty cool though, honestly. I'm pretty happy with it. Its new move is called Cursed Flame, a new physical attacking move that always burns the opponent. Day 3 of Pokemay. This one was all about France, a nation we already have a region for, so it's a fun one to think of some forgotten Pokemon for that we could have gotten. With this challenge, a big reason I'm doing it is to stop worrying about my Fakemon's concepts as much as I do. I often trap myself in this loop of art block because I have trouble thinking of the most perfect concept for a new Pokemon. I end up spending hours researching mythology, culture and history for a single Pokemon. Sometimes that's fun and even necessary and all, but other times it's important to let go of this and just let loose a little. Which is what I did with this one. I decided to make a Snail Knight. Is this concept weird? Yes! Is it true that it's not very French? Yes! Has it somehow been done already? Yes! Am I gonna draw it anyways because I like the idea? Yes. Despite not putting in too much effort in the concept, I did manage to make it French in the end. By inspiring it on French knights with these iconic beak-like helmets, as well as Lancelot of the Lake, a French knight in Arthurian legend. This gave me the idea of basing it on freshwater snail, with seashells on the seashore and they sell snail shells on their armor. It was also at this moment that I had the fun idea of turning these 3 first Pokemon of the month into a trio. Not official starters, but more so the elemental monkeys kinda trio. Each of them take inspiration from warriors of different cultures. The rough and tumbling cowboy, the dark and brutal samurai, and the noble and chivalrous knight. Honestly, a battle of the century. My money is on the cowboy because gun. But I feel like it would be a close match in a battle royale. Anywho, where was I? Oh, right. Chalavier. The shells that are its armor aren't really its body. Obviously, the real body is the metal-like skin underneath. That's a reference to chainmail, a crucial part of even late night's equipment. I stumbled upon another issue with this guy though. Once again, I had too little time to work on it. So I technically ended up finishing it on May 4th instead of May 3rd. By like 10 minutes or something. It still counts, okay? The Americans were still awake. Cette fille n'est pas assez grande pour nous deux, Chevalier. From Chevalier, French for knight, and Shell.
Chevalier, the Cavalier Pokemon. A water steel type. The noble Chevalier patrol the south of the Kalos region, where they protect the innocent and fight for noblemen. Chevalier are fair Pokemon. They'll never fight a foe who is weaker than them, and they show mercy in battle. If it meets an equal, however, it won't hold back its powerful strikes.
Because I had to rush it, Chevalier was also not as polished as I wanted it to be. But with this design, it actually doesn't bother me as much. It's a fun one anyways. Its signature move is called Shell Charge, a water-type move with lower accuracy, but it always goes first. Oh, quick intermission. If you're enjoying this video, it won't hurt anyone to like and subscribe. I've posted all of these Pokemon on Instagram already, so if you wanna see the new designs that I have cooking up at the moment I finish them, go follow me there. I don't usually post there, but I'm making an effort to pick up the slack. Day 4 of Pokemay was on Germany. This is a country I actually already have a region on, the Elfie region. So why not repurpose an old design of mine for this challenge? I needed it anyways because I once again was facing time constraints. What a terrible idea this was. There is one thing I think of first when talking about Germany, and that's the automobile. Well, there is another. But we don't talk about that on YouTube. The Germans are world-renowned for their car manufacturing industry, so I wanted to draw a car Pokemon. Now, a car is a very difficult thing to make a Pokemon of. It's one of the most object-like objects you could have, so you need some creativity. That's why I evolved Mecargo into Gastrobile. This guy will be a classic Volkswagen Beetle-esque car going into the territory of Pokemon with objects instead of Pokemon that are objects. I first, of course, drew the car that it uses as its shell, before I drew the body that comes out of it. I know that we already have a car Pokemon, but the original idea and design of this Pokemon actually far predates even Gen 8, let alone Gen 9 and Revavroom. And I'll be honest, I don't say this often, but I think my take on this concept is better, just a bit better. The idea behind Gastrobile was originally that it was the evolution to the regional form of Mecargo. And instead of cooling down and forming a rocky shell, this Mecargo instead burned its way inside a loose tire and uses that to roll around at the speed of sound. But for this challenge I had a few extra requirements to complete. I'd have to make at least one evolution to an old Pokemon. So I'm getting that one out of the way with Gastrobile. It's just the evolution to regular Mecargo now. Flipping the many complaints about Mecargo's speed, stat and typing on their heads. And turning it into a speedy fire and steel type. You guys kept complaining that Mecargo sucked. So screw it! I'm making him broken! Gastrobile, from mobile and gastropod. The scientific name for snails and oh god!
Gastrobile, the automobile Pokemon, a fire steel type. In the Elfie region, these Pokemon have become the main form of transportation. They inhabit the wrecks of old cars and can reach tremendous speeds. There has been a pushback against using Gastrobile as transportation because of their toxic emissions. Scientists are working to make environmentally friendly shells for it.
Gastrovile is, in my opinion, a subtle but great improvement over its original design. This guy actually has some history, being one of the very first Vegemon that I ever actually designed myself, and didn't just trace as a stupid 12-year-old. This is the second snail in a row for this challenge, which was a funny coincidence. I didn't plan for this at all. But... Pokemay Day 5.
The
Netherlands. You guys already know where this is going. The Hummersum region is my personal Dutch-inspired region. It takes inspiration from the Netherlands. And I have an entire series about it on this channel. So for each Monday of this challenge, I'll be designing a brand new Pokemon for the Hummersum region. I know, you're probably thinking, Monday? That's a weird and random day. Sounds like a mistake to me, Gary. And yes, it is. I originally meant for each Sunday to be the Pokemon Orange Day, but I done goofed up and miscalculated. It's actually a blessing in disguise, however. Mondays are the final day before I begin my video making schedule, so it ended up working perfectly as the last Pokemon for this video. Oh, by the way, it's another snail. I love snails. These slimy little bastards give me an autistic boost for some reason. They're so slimy and ugly and dumb and stupid, and they look like stinky, smelly poop. So I have a weird obsession with them. I just feel like they get me on a spiritual level, you know? I originally planned for another Pokemon to be my Dutch candidate, but after I coincidentally made two snail Pokemon after each other, I just couldn't help myself. I already had a snaily design planned for my region, so I chose to draw Klug instead of that. This guy takes inspiration from a very iconically Dutch thing. Clogs! Those funky wooden shoes that all Dutch people wear, even if they say they don't. And it's almost not a joke. While they're not wooden anymore, most rural households here have at least one pair of clogs to wear. What can I say? They're just very useful. Their hard exterior protects your foot from heavy objects, and they're great for muddy soil. Which is, as you may have guessed, very handy in the land of the swamp Germans. I decided to mix these clogs with snails. Because a fun and often forgotten fact about snails is that their entire body is a single foot. A foot fit for a clog. And seeing as snails and slugs often live in wet marshes and areas with enough moist, the connection is quite a clever one. I made its body loosely resemble a foot, with two eye stalks and three nostrils like appendages that resemble toes. One of the eye stalks is even bigger than the other, like a big toe. I originally also wanted to give it a foot fungi growing on its body, but I decided to spare you guys for that. Not out of the goodness of my heart, oh no, not at all. But because it would clutter up the design with too many elements. The design of the clog shell was very important to get right. In the beta designs I had fiddled around with some orientations of the clog. This orientation specifically allowed for the most natural feeling shell. And it also gets to show off the painted patterns on the clog, often seen with these traditional Dutch clogs. Say hello to Klug, from Clog and Slug.
Plug, the clog Pokemon, a grass and poison type. Plug are well adapted to wet marshland environments. Their slimy bodies need lots of moisture, and their wooden shell protects them from harsh weather. Plugs are always found in pairs. They never leave each other's sides. Their shells are a symbol of loyalty and a strong relationship, so discarded ones are sold as popular souvenirs to tourists. It can be found in the polders, the new marsh, and the crosspath forests. It has the abilities Stench, Wood Armor, and the hidden ability Truant.
I know it's an inherently disgusting and vile Pokemon, but I just love him. Like I said, I adore slugs and snails, and this goober is very dopey looking. Day 6 of Pokemay. Quite a shame I didn't start this challenge a year earlier, because 2024 was the year of the dragon. You guys know what the Chinese zodiac is, right? Come on, you're Pokemon fans. The Chinese zodiac is a cycle of 12 animals, real or mythical, that represent a year. For the longest time, people were clamoring to this idea for it being the way they picked the brand new fire-type starters each generation. However, Quacoco, and truthfully Cyndaquil already, it's not a rat, shattered this widely believed theory. Now everyone makes fun of it, even though I do think it was quite a fun idea. If I'm making a Pokemon on China, I have no other choice than going with a dragon Pokemon, based on Chinese New Year, and the Year of the Dragon. It's such a fun inspiration, and it gave me the opportunity to finally draw one of the most requested unused type combinations in the series. Bug Dragon. I mixed in elements of caterpillars, based on how these dragon-like costumes they use in New Year's parades are segmented, similarly to caterpillars. I'm pretty proud of this connection. I think the design itself is a bit unbalanced, however. The head feels way too developed compared to the body. You could say it feels like that with the costumes too, but I don't feel like it connects well to the rest of the body. Quite a shame, because everything else about this guy is super fun. This is Maolong, from the Chinese word Maochongus, Maochong, meaning caterpillar, and the Chinese word Long, meaning dragon.
Maolong, the Dragon Pupa Pokemon. A bug and dragon type. They are very rare. An old myth claims that at the end of the 12th year of its life, this Pokemon will change into a mighty beast of legends. It has the ability Intimidate and the hidden ability Dragon's Maw.
For the first dragon bug type, this guy seems quite fun. Feels like it could serve as the baby pseudo-legendary of a Chinese region. If you guys ever want me to make evolutions or pre-evolutions to any of these Pokemon, just let me know in the comments, because I think some of these could be really fun to iterate on. Hello mates, I'm a bloody Aussie bloke, crikey! That was terrible. Day 7 of Pokemay was quite clearly Australia. The land down under. And of course, I made the most fresh, unique and never before seen Pokemon for an Australian region. A fighting type kangaroo. No one has ever thought of that, I'm so clever. Jokes aside, I think I did have a pretty unique take on the idea, by mixing the kangaroo with a sport that's very popular in Australia. Cricket! This is a sport that has befuddled me for the longest time. It's not popular here, so I have no clue what it's about. But from what I gather, it's like baseball, but with a weird paddle instead of a bat. This paddle was perfect for the kangaroo's tail. You see, the kangaroo is quite a unique creature for many reasons. And the pouch is not one of those. The real cool thing about them is that their tail is basically a third foot. They use it as a balance while jumping. And as a third leg, this tail is very strong and muscled, so it translates perfectly into a bat, that it uses to dunk on its own child. Let's go! Pokemon that throw their own children is my favorite gender. I worked with a very monotone color palette. I usually use a couple different contrasting colors, but for this one I wanted to challenge myself and get a few colors that are very close in hue. Like red and orange. The only accent color that I used was a contrasting blue for the eye. Its face and hands take inspiration from protective attire used in cricket. And its name is Crikaroo, from kangaroo and cricket. It also sounds super Aussie. Crikey, it's Crikaroo!
Krigaroo, the kangaroo Pokemon, a fighting type. As long as people have lived in this region, they have been challenging Krigaroo to Krigaroo matches. Fun ball games inspired by their mating behavior in the wild. It has the abilities Ball Fetch, Iron Fist, and the hidden ability Defiance.
Okay, I'm turning the video back right side up now. The blood was getting to my head. I'm getting a little sick here. Day 8 of Pokemay was Korea. And for this one, I decided to go with a Pokemon inspired by K-pop and frogs. Who, fun fact, can sing better than the average YouTube musician. That way, I could also bring back an old favorite of mine. The music type! I have an old 2-part video series about why I think the music type should be in Pokemon. So if you wanna know more about this, go check it out. This Pokemon is, very charming. I really like what I did with the eyes. If you squint, damn it, man! I can't pretend to like this one. Sorry, Korea, but I really goofed this one up. I struggled with this design a lot, especially in the concept and sketching phase, and because of the heavy time constraints, as well as just exhaustion from the rest of my life catching up on me, this Pokemon turned out very lackluster in my eyes. I think there's a couple elements I do like about it. I gave it these water bubble throat sacs, like what many frogs have to croak with. And the red accents on its fingers and eyes also give it some subtle color variations that I like. And they look like a bit of eyeshadow and nail polish. But I think I messed up the proportions mainly. I was trying to go for the awkward middle stage Pokemon, and I think I succeeded on that a bit too hard. This is Popple, from Popping, Bubbles, and K-pop.
Popple, the pop Pokemon, a water music type. The beautiful songs they sing to attract mates are regarded as an iconic aspect of a certain region's landscapes. It has the abilities Liquid Voice, Soundproof, and the hidden ability Swift Swim.
You know what? No, I can do better than this. I can do way better than this. You know what? I didn't want to do this, but they left me no choice. I'm disowning Popple. That's way better. Maybe I'll redesign this guy sometime, when I have time. On day 9 of Pokemay, I was determined to redeem myself. And with the prompt Egypt, I knew I had the chance to make a very insane and cool Pokemon. I feel like something I do a bit too often is make my Pokemon look like animals. Many Pokemon are, of course, animals. But with me it's a problem. I sometimes find it too difficult to come up with a non-animal-like design. So I went a little wonky with the Egypt guy. I decided to make a pyramid Pokemon. Because, you know, of course it's Egypt. But I mixed that with an alien and flying saucers inspiration. Yes, the aliens did build the pyramids. To serve as giant nests for them to sleep on, so they can take over the world in the year of our Lord and Savior 2032. I wanted a really strange body plan with this one. The bulky tip of a pyramid on top, with wobbly spaghetti legs on the bottom. This way it could feel a bit weird, alien and unbalanced. And these tentacle legs coming from a hole on the bottom of this pyramid are sort of a reference to those light beams from flying saucers that are specifically designed to pull in cows and cows only. I put a lot of effort into the shaping and the volume of this Pokemon. That's basically a weird way of saying I tried to make it look 3D. Implying volume is very important for a geometric design like this one. It was also very necessary with the obelisk arms I gave it. This one turned out really cool, and I'm much prouder of this design.
Greetings, Earthlings! Bow down to your new overlord, Terra, from Pyramids and Terra, another name for Earth.
Terra, the conspiracy Pokemon, a ground and psychic type. Piraterra will build enormous nests that dominate the landscape around them. They nestle themselves at the top of these, where they're safe and have a good view. It has the abilities Wonder Guard, Magic Guard, and hidden ability Levitate.
Piraterra is really cool. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go to the meat factory to be harvested and processed into a human meat burrito by our brand new overlord Pirate... Larry? Surprise? Where are you controlling Piraterra this entire time? Whoops, gotta go! I have to water my rocks. Farewell, everybody! Remember to dislike and unsubscribe. Bye! No, you get back here. You are going to Brazil! No! Pokemay Day 10 was on Brazil. This is probably one of the most requested Pokemon regions in the fandom. For this prompt, I repurposed a really fun idea I had ages ago. A colorful parrot Pokemon inspired by Carnival. This idea is actually really old already. It was originally a submission for the Maza region contest. I'm sure many of you will know what the Maza region is, right? I can't be that old, right? The Maza region contest was a Fakemon art contest for the biggest fan-made Pokemon region. The Maza region. You know, the whole inspiration for the Hummusum region and my channel in the first place. Yeah, that contest, and also this design, is already over 2 years old. Like, old enough to use the potty. I mixed many common birds of paradise together with the iconic Ara parrots to get this colorful Carnival-inspired design. Carnival is, of course, the most iconic festival of Brazil, together with their many colorful birds. This Pokemon's wings will have loose feathers, which it can scatter around like confetti. This way it can get a new move, Confetti Bomb. A priority special flying type move that switches the user's Pokemon, like U-turn. Paramora is the original Gary Pokemon in my eyes, because I gave this thing 12 different color variants, not including the shiny. Yes, 12! This was to reference the many different vibrant species of Ara and parrots there are. I love how colorful this Pokemon ended up being. It puts me in a good mood just seeing it. Say hello to Paramora! From Parrot, Ara, Para, and Amor. Spanish for love. It also gets a feminine A as a suffix.
Paramora, the confetti Pokemon. A flying psychic type, Paramora live deep in the jungle where there are hundreds of differently colored variants. Every week, scientists discover a new color pattern. It has the abilities Big Pecs, Dancer, and the hidden ability Air Relates.
This one is a really fun bird. Here's all of the different variants. They all have fruit-inspired names as well. Day 11 of Pokemay was for New Zealand. And for this one I decided to create a Kiwi. You know, a kiwi that's also a kiwi? Yeah, you know, Kiwi. A kiwi bird and a kiwi fruit. Yes. Well, there's more to New Zealand than just kiwis, I know that. But sometimes you just have to pick the low-hanging fruits. Just like that joke. I finished this one pretty quickly actually, because of how simple the idea and the design were. I didn't need to do much fine-tuning. I made it a half circle, to give it a unique shape not often seen in Pokemon. This way, its face could also be the most striking part of the design, the green insides of the fruits. The rest of the design get to be nice and fluffy. I used these tufts of feathers to give it a more unique silhouette and mimic things like wings, which kiwis don't seem to have. Do kiwis have wings actually? Apparently they have very small ones. Oh, that's cute. I used the seed of a kiwi to give it some cuteness factor, with these small freckles on its face. It looks adorable, I wanna squish it. I don't have a lot to say about it. Sometimes you just want to draw a simple and cute little guy, you know? Say hello to Kiwik. From Kiwi, 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 Kiwi forwards and Kiwi backwards. Which is Iwik.
Kiwik, the Kiwi Pokemon. A grass type. Kiwik live in the underbrush of the forests where they live quiet and solitary lives. Sadly, their numbers have started to dwindle lately. It has the ability Unaware.
This simple, quick design could maybe work as some kind of starter for a New Zealand region in my mind. It wasn't my intention, honestly, so I can't quite check it off the list just yet. But if this were the grass type starter of a trio, I don't think anyone would be complaining. The final day of this week, day 12 of Pokemay, was on my home country of Belgium. I know this video is quite late, I got caught up in a lot of business with school and internship and work and stuff. But to keep this video from being too much work to make, I'll have day 12 be the last one. Belgium is where I live, and also one of the inspirations behind my own Pokemon region, the Hummusum region. So this entry will once again be for Hummusum. With this Pokemon I wanted to make one that can fit both parts of Belgium, Flanders and Wallonia, as well as a bit of the Netherlands too, for good luck. So I took inspiration from lions. The lions do not live in Belgium, luckily. But regardless of that, the lion is still the national symbol of Flanders and the Netherlands. This Dutch lion comes from the old Burgundian flag. They used to rule the lowlands, and so a lot of their imagery and culture still persists to this very day. So that's the Flemish inspiration. What's the Walloon inspiration then? Well, Napoleon. Okay, he's French, not Walloon, but we all know what happened to him at Waterloo, right? Waterloo, a city in Wallonia, is famous for being Napoleon's final battle, where he was defeated for the last time. In the city of Waterloo, there is this iconic statue of a lion on top of a hill. This is a Wallonian part of the design. I wanted this Pokemon to be the cool fur-bait icon of the region, similar to Lucario and Zoroark. It's a niche I don't really have yet, except for Terrytect, but it's less cool and more silly and wacky. I wanted this design to have presence and power! And I also made it entirely black, except for a few red outlines. This makes its design very striking and imposing. It turned out to be one of my favorite designs I've ever made actually. I think I really got across the power and might of this Pokemon, and the slender Dutch lion-like body shape gives it a fun silhouette, with the furry fury mane forming the shape of a crown of wreaths, and the tail transitioning into a flame. Very striking, very cool. Bow down to your Emperor, Leo Lord! From Leo, the Latin word for lion, and Lord.
Leolord, the Emperor Pokemon. A firefighting type. It is a symbol of power in the Hummusum region. Long ago, it was the Pokemon of the general who defeated the Colossian Emperor in battle and liberated the region from foreign rule. Leolord is the national symbol of the region. They are respected for their strength, bravery, and loyalty in battle. They are also very prideful and won't listen to anyone they deem beneath them. Its location is unknown. It has the abilities Moxie, Supreme Overlord, and the hidden ability Adaptability.
This Pokemon would also get a pre-evolution, but I don't yet have a design for that. So for now I'll just fill the Pokédex like how I filled the definitely coming one day, totally not a ruse, I swear, evolution to Shrum. Hello? Hello? I'm lost in the Amazon rainforest. Can someone help me? Please? Oh no. Day 13 of Pokemay was about Thailand. Thailand was a pretty difficult country to think of a Pokemon for. As we get further into this challenge, we start coming across smaller and less well-known countries, like Nigeria and Colombia. Thailand is quite a well-known country still, but there's a lot less ideas going around in my head for it than the other countries before it. I did some research and came across the Krathong. Krathong, I'm trying my best here. A light festival in Thailand. They celebrate this festival by placing lit up lotus flowers on rivers, and I took inspiration from these lotus flowers. I had the image of a little sprite wearing a lotus dress, and I used this to give it a fun little design, with the floating leaves of the water lily being the dress and the flower itself being the crown on its head, as well as these pink extensions of the dress which give it a vague kimono shape, resembling a traditional Thai dress. On its head I put these two sticks, reminiscent of sticks inside a girl's hair to keep it back. These sticks are candles, and on one of them I lit a pink flame. It's gonna be a psychic type, as it also takes inspiration from incense and meditation. I tend to relate lotus flowers with peace, so it's a tranquil lily. Tranquil lily. I like that name.
Tranquility, the Lotus Pokemon, a grass and psychic type. The presence of Tranquility is already enough to calm down an anxiety attack. These Pokemon help many people who are stressed with work. It has the abilities Chlorophyll, Leaf Guard, and the hidden ability Aroma Veil.
This is quite a unique take on a little grass lady Pokemon. Feels very elegant, but still modest. I do think my colors don't feel very Pokemon-like. They could have been better. Maybe I could have played a little bit more with the darkness and the hue of some of them. But in the end, it turned out pretty nice. Day 14 of Pokemay was Oh Canada, the land of moose, milk bags and stories. With this one, I went with the most iconic symbol of Canada, the maple leaf. And I used this to think about a deeper design concept than just, a leaf Pokemon. Maple trees are very well known for their sap, which is used in maple syrup, another thing commonly associated with Canada. So that gave me the idea of a syrup drinking bug, a flea or a weevil who drinks the sap from maple trees to process it into syrup. I took inspiration from how sap from these trees is usually collected, by drilling into them. And from that, I connected it with a weevil. These cute little bugs with a long snoot. They use these to bore holes into acorns where they lay their eggs. Look at it, so cute, just a hard-working little guy. I shaped the weevil's mandibles. Are those mandibles? Its spiky snoot thing into a corkscrew. Like those wine screws. And also like silly straws. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Whatever happened to those? Guys, I'm seriously worried that society is getting less silly. Anywho, I gave it these swirly eyes as a gag to it getting drunk off of tree sap. That just seemed kinda funny. And of course, I gave it this big round vial filled with syrup, referencing ticks who drink blood. The syrup is also a reference to blood, and how ticks and fleas will drink blood from hosts, like us humans. So this guy is doing the same, but to the blood of trees. I've been feeling a bit iffy with some of my recent drawings, not because of the designs per se. There's something else wrong with them, and now that I've finished this design, I finally know what. I used way too much highlighting in some of these, and making those highlights way too bright. It causes many of my designs to look shiny and plastic. And my color usage also needs some more work with many of these Pokemon. So now that I know that, I'll keep these flaws in mind for later arts. This is Mapley, from Maple Tree and Flea.
Mapley, the sucking Pokemon, a bug type. Mapleys spend their entire lives on the trunk of maple trees in order to suck them dry of their delicious sap. This maple sap goes well with pancakes. It has the ability Symbiosis and hidden ability Contrary.
Maple is quite a silly little guy. Despite having some flaws to the design, I'm still very proud of the ID and the Pokemon itself. Oh no! Please don't eat me! I'm too delicious to die!
Ex-Master Larry, it is merely I, Harry, your creation.
Oh, thank goodness. How did you find me?
I followed the pathetic crying and whimpering.
Hey!
Your emotions have gotten the better of you yet again. You failed me, Larry.
It's not my fault. That Piraterra robot you gave me was busted.
Did you refill it on the way there?
It was busted.
You are even worse than other humans. More incompetent. I thought maybe your pride could be of use to me. But even that is fake and useless.
You said you'd help me take over Gary's channel. How am I ever gonna be famous if all your plans keep failing me?
I don't think I'm the worthless variable in this equation, Larry. But do not be afraid. I have a plan to destroy Gary once and for all. Initiate evillaughter.exe.
And by destroy you mean take over his channel and not hurt him, right?
Yeah, sure.
Next up is Russia. Niet, Mother Russia. This one is Bear. Bear is cold and deadly, like snow in Mother Russia. Okay, normal talk again. For this one I decided to also tackle another one of my side prompts. A regional variant. And for Russia I of course need to make a bear Pokemon. It's the symbol of Russia. Originally it was used to call Russia big and clumsy. But they took it in pride. They're still big and clumsy though. There's already a couple of bears. Of course, the three We Bear bears come to mind. Panda, Grizz and Ice Bear. Sorry, I mean Pangoro, Ursaring and Beartic. And none of them were quite fit for a regional form. Instead, I picked the cuddly one. Beware! Beware is usually characterized as this really friendly and loving bear Pokemon that is extremely dangerous because of its uncontrollable strength. So I thought it'd be fun and fitting for the regional form to flip this on its head and instead make it extremely aggressive and bloodthirsty Pokemon. The idea is that because Beware usually lives in a tropical paradise, it's mellow and friendly, albeit too loving. But in this cold, unforgiving region, Beware has adapted to be much more aggressive and dangerous to survive. That's why I made a bunch of subtle changes to its design, changing the many round shapes into sharp triangles, and making its color a deep blood red. This was also a good Pokemon to test out a more subdued highlighting style. It looks a lot better, wouldn't you say? Give a big hug to Beware! Actually no, please don't do that.
Beware, the strong arm Pokemon. A normal and dark type. Unlike in the relaxing Alola region, this form of Beware is actively malicious and aggressive. It's a highly territorial Pokemon that attacks everything it sees.
My only worry with this design is that it's too close to the original one. However, other than that, I'm very happy with the finished product. A fun twist on a fun Pokemon. Day 16 is all about Mexico! And what other inspiration for this one than Dia de los Muertos? This is an iconic Mexican festival where they remember the dead. People dress up with skulls and decorate everything with beautiful Mexican marigolds. Obviously, this Pokemon would need to be a ghost type. The main body will be the skull. Pokemon has a surprising amount of bone-related Pokemon already. Cubone, Mandibuzz and Houndstone. So what is one more? The eye holes of the skull are shaped like flowers, to reference the eye paint worn on Dia de los Muertos. and its circular body will be surrounded by a mass of pretty gold marigolds. These are most often two different colors, yellow or purple, and so this will be the two main colors of the design. Its eyes get these colors too, and I also gave it some paint on its face to make it very colorful. Because it's the first stage of some imaginative ghost line, this design is pretty simple, and I didn't have enough time to think of any extra elements. So here is Muerto Gold, from Muertos, being death, and Marigold.
Muerto Gold, the death Pokemon, a ghost type. Muerto Gold are the spirits of people who have passed away and have been forgotten. They are said to wander the earth in search of their loved ones so they can remember who they were. It has the abilities Flower Veil, Flower Gift, and the hidden ability Levitate.
It sort of resembles Ghastly. It's not meant to be Ghastly, but I think it could be a pretty fun counterpart to the Gengar line. Day 17 is Ukraine, and what's happening? What's going on? Hello?
Gary the Muffin, this is a warning. I have hijacked your video and deleted your recording of Pokemay Day 17. Surrender your channel or face the consequences.
What? Who is this? Is this some kind of joke? You're some kind of troll, aren't you?
Negative.
I am merely a force of change, Fleshling.
Harry?
Consider your options.
Oh no. Oh, he really did delete my recording of Newcore. Dang it, that was such a cool one. I don't know who that tin can of wires thinks he is, but if he thinks I'm giving up my channel this easily, then he can go suck a big succulent AA batteries.
Newcore, the Radiance Pokemon, a Steel and Poison type. Newcore was created during a tragic accident. It will roam the ruins of its birthplace for thousands, if not millions of years. It has the ability Perish Body.
Newcore was inspired by Chernobyl, a disaster near the end of the Cold War. The Ukrainian, then Russian, nuclear reactor of the same name malfunctioned and caused a massive wave of radiation poisoning all over Eastern Europe. With this design I also added the Demon Core as its head. This is a highly radioactive plutonium half-sphere that was created during the Manhattan Project to serve as the core to an atomic bomb. Pokemon are Japanese developers. I don't think they'd ever do a radioactive inspired Pokemon, but it would be pretty interesting, let's be honest. This design is extremely asymmetrical. I did this on purpose to make it look mutated. It's a bunch of metal scrap that is melted together into an abhorrent pile of toxic debris. And it looks quite cool. Shame I don't have the recording process any longer. I sure hope this doesn't happen again. Next up is Italy, for day 18 of Pokemay. Italy is another one of those places that many people want to be a real Pokemon region. And so I thought it'd be neat if I made a brand new starter Pokemon for such a region. That way I could also tick off starters from my prompt list as well. Of course, when I'm making an Italian Pokemon, it has to be inspired by the Roman Empire. I still think about it every day. It was so glorious. I went with the original creation myth of Rome. The myth of Romulus and Remus, and their wolf mommy, the origin of furries. Romulus and Remus were found by a wild wolf and raised by it as their pups. And then they kill and eat their mom, I think. I haven't read the story in a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. So I'm making a fire-type wolf starter, inspired by traditional Roman war uniforms. I imagine this starter trio could have an overlapping theme of warfare or something like that, as that's an iconic part of Roman history. This little pup turned out super cute. I'm very happy with the many different elements of this design. The fluffy mohawk, the smoky tail, and the hidden color in its design. It's an ambitious and trained little pup that I can see turn into a wild and dangerous beast someday. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but this is a really good starter design, especially considering I drew it in like an hour. Yeah, I'm pretty amazing. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yes, it's Papaya from Puppy and Pyro.
Papaya, the Firewolf Pokemon, a Fire type. Papaya is one of the best first partner Pokemon a beginner trainer can pick. They're playful, loyal, and love fighting Pokemon battles. Hence, it is a common pet. It has the ability Blaze and the hidden ability Intimidate. Who is it gonna intimidate with that cute little face? Such a cute little patootie.
I'm usually not someone who likes the fire starters, but Papaya is extremely cute. If you replace any fire starter with Papaya, I think I'd actually pick it more than I wouldn't. That is to say, I like it a lot. And now we come to the final Pokemon of this week. This one is for the great, the glorious Luxembourg. Guys, I know it's a small country, but it's a vital part of the Benelux group. And in turn also an important inspiration for, you guessed it, the Hummusum region. Though, I have a big problem. Luxembourg is pretty boring. Well, it isn't actually, it's quite a nice place. But most of its culture comes from their neighbors. France, Germany and Belgium. So it was really hard to find a good inspiration for the design. But luckily, there is one thing Luxembourg has excelled at throughout history. Their steel industry. Fun fact, right before World War II, Luxembourg almost produced as much steel as the entirety of Italy. And they dare to call themselves a great power. But admittedly, Luxembourg's steel industry is frankly impressive for their small size. They indirectly make 6% of the world's steel to this very day. In combination with a Dutch and an English company, but still. They don't even have 1 million people that live there. I did some math, and they make up about 0.00008% of the world's population. And still produce 6% of its steel. That's just extremely impressive. So this Pokemon will be a miner. No, not the ones that can already drink beer in Luxembourg. I mean the ones that can already drink beer in Luxembourg and work in the mines. This Pokemon is a combination of dwarves and miners, as well as some Earth's crust. There's a whole reason behind the earthy crust thing as well, but I'm keeping that explanation for whenever I make the rest of this line. Though, feel free to do your own research on this topic. It's really interesting. Hey ho, it's me, Metal Yo-Yo. From Metal, the biggest steel company in Luxembourg, Metal, and together it sounds like Minital.
Minital, the miner Pokemon, a ground and steel type. They live deep below the mountains, where an entire society of them slave away in a massive mine larger than any mine system built by humans. They have the pure instinct to hit rocks with their metal arms. They don't seem to do this to mine ores or minerals. They just do it to keep their metal arms sharp and healthy. It can be found in the rock fields, the South Ardo Plateau, and the Ardo Caves. It has the abilities Scent Rush, Scent Veil, and the hidden ability Mold Breaker.
I'll be honest and say, I think I'll give this design some major reworks in the future. I'm not too happy with the finished product. Even if I do like it, it just doesn't meet the vision I originally had for this line. So, watch out, Minital. You're getting dangerously close to the gateway to hell there, buckaroo. That's it? You just deleted the file, threatened him, and then gave up like that?
I did not give up. In fact, this is merely the beginning of a greater plan. I'll make sure he never finishes this silly project of his. And when I take over his channel, I can finally work towards my real goal. Initiate evillaughter.exe.
So are you gonna explain what it is or just keep laughing? Okay, sure. I'll just sit here, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Be ready, Larry. Today is the day we commit to our takeover. Gary's channel will be mine.
You mean ours?
Yeah, sure.
Day 20 was Indonesia, and we're in the final stretch, 2/3 of the way through the challenge. With this week, I felt like I was really getting a hang of it. Finally, because I feel like this week was exclusively filled with bangers. Case in point, Comma Boom. I took inspiration from the Indonesian wilds. I was scared that because I don't know that much about its culture, that I would end up repeating the same vibe I had with Tranquility. But instead of doing that, I had a much cooler idea. I mixed the famous Komodo dragon, the largest lizard on Earth, which only lives on the island Komodo in Indonesia, as well as a few other islands nearby, but not important, with Krakatoa. Krakatoa is an infamous volcano between the two islands of Java and Bedrock. No, wait, I mean, the island is called Sumatra, my bad. This active volcano is well known for the devastation it caused in 1883, when it erupted multiple times over the course of a few days. It erupted with the same force as 4 Tsar bombas, the biggest atomic bombs mankind has ever created. This explosion was so powerful, it could be felt all the way in London and New York. And the shockwave traveled the Earth 3.5 times. Around 160 villages were completely wiped off the map, and 36,000 people lost their lives because of the eruption, as well as the resulting earthquakes and tsunamis. With this design, I wanted to experiment a little bit more with the shape of it, as well as the colors. I wanted bright, flashy colors that gave it this punk rock-like or glam rock-like aesthetic. It ended up looking really fun and Pokemon-y, with exaggerated proportions, colors, and a fun personality. Comma Boom! From Komodo and Kaboom.
Comma Boom, the eruption Pokemon, a dragon and fire type. It is said that the giant volcano that creates this region is actually an oversized ancient Comma Boom. Explorers from the Homosome region fear this Pokemon. It has the abilities Magma Armor, Poison Heal, and the hidden ability Unnerve.
I think this Pokemon is a good example of what a strong design should be in Pokemon. Monstrous, but with a clear and fun personality. Definitely a banger. But not my best Pokemon this week. That would be... Automatorch! I said Automatorch! Automatorch? Where the hell did my footage go? Oh no.
Stand ready for my arrival, Moth. You are given orders, you are given time, you are given more leeway than most, yet I still find this video unprepared for my arrival.
Harry, this is not a good time, okay? I'm trying to make a video. I had this really banger Pokemon, Automatorch, and it's...
Inferior.
What?
It is inferior to what I, a machine, am capable of.
Yeah, give it to him, Harry! Larry? You're with him? But I thought clearly you thought incorrect. As usual. You two want my channel, don't you? Ah, finally! A thought that is correct. Why do you even want it so badly? I only have 1,700 subscribers and only about 50% of people who will watch this video are subscribed. Can't you go torment another YouTuber?
Step aside, Moth. and hand over your channel. No one has to get hurt.
Over my dead body.
As you wish.
Oh my god, you killed him!
He was standing in the way of progress.
You didn't have to kill him!
Oh, please tell me you didn't get attached to that imbecile. Your emotions once again cloud your mind. They make you weak, unable to do what you must.
You're a hypocrite! You're doing all of this just to get revenge!
What did you say to me?
Nothing.
Good. Now, this video is all yours, Larry. Have fun while it lasts. Automatorch, the steampunk Pokemon. A fire and steel type. The eternal flame that burns inside this Pokemon helped power massive machinery in industrial era Galar. If this flame ever expires, its life ends. It has the abilities Pressurize and the hidden ability Steam Engine.
I found the script of the video. Automatorch is for day 21 of Pokemay, which is for the prompt the United Kingdom. Oh, he forgot to capitalize the letters, because of course he did. Because the United Kingdom is already a region in the form of Galar, I wanted to make this Pokemon very unique compared to the existing Gen 8 Pokemon. So I based it off of an automaton, which is a steampunk term for robots. It also takes inspiration. Wow, that's spelled so wrong. Inspiration from the Industrial Revolution. So it's a steampunk furnace automaton robot. It also takes subtle inspiration from chess. As the steam thingy, look up what it's called. Wait, did he seriously forget the word for chimney? Okay. The chimney is shaped like the king piece of chess. I think this Pokemon would have been a really cool pseudo-legendary Pokemon in Galar, similar to Gen 3's Salamence and Metagross. Hey, I can see that actually. Gary is right, these Pokemon are really cool. And now Gary's gone. Oh, what have I done? He recorded the rest of this video, so I guess I'll just play that. Pokemon Day 22 was for the country of Nigeria. We're getting to the more obscure places now, and so Nigeria was a bit of a struggle to come up with a Pokemon. Luckily, I found out about the Benin Bronzes. 2,000 face statues discovered by the British in Nigeria after they invaded and occupied the capital of the Benin Empire. I think you can already guess what happened to those statues, right? So, it's a Ghost Steel type Pokemon inspired by these Benin Bronze statues, which actually weren't founded in Benin, but in modern day Nigeria. And they're also not bronze, they're made of messing. And to top it all off, these aren't even statues, most of them are busts. Talk about false marketing. It worked though, because the British took them all home after they won the war with the Benin Empire. The Pokemon itself is just a steelhead that uses its ghostly powers to wrap itself up in luxurious gowns. These robes are known as Aso-oke, the term used in many Western African cultures to refer to the clothing style of the region. Often with these colorful striped patterns and geometrical designs. I captured that in the cloak, giving it golden lines and blue squares. The shiny will even be colored like the Pan-African flag. Say hello to Robronze, from Robe and Bronze.
Robronze, the bronze face Pokemon. a ghost and steel type. Stories told about Robron speak of it pretending to be human and walking among us, only for it to lure children away to the afterlife. It has the ability Light Metal and the hidden ability Silk Touch.
I like how this Pokemon feels mysterious and ominous, yet also very colorful. It's quite an amusing contrast. Well done, Gary. Right. He's dead. Anywho, next Pokemon! For Colombia on day 23, I'm finally fulfilling this one commenter's biggest request. A coffee bean bug Pokemon. Colombia is one of the biggest coffee producers in the world. I always wanted to draw this ID, because it's just very fun, and also because I really like Café Caracha from the Maza region. Though, when I'm doing this Pokemon, I have to be very careful not to thread too close to Subjectively's design. So I decided to go more bean-like. By shaping it just like a coffee bean, it has this squishy and French-shaped look to it that makes it adorable. I also gave it this lightning antenna. It'll be an electric type, as drinking coffee really tends to energize most people. Now, I don't drink it. But I hear from many people that it gives you a big boost in energy. It's not gonna be electric bug, however. It's gonna be electric psychic type, with the coffee awakening its psychic abilities. This design is all about sleepiness, with the bean shell being shaped like a sleeping bag or a bean bag, and the electric antenna also being shaped like Z's. It ended up looking like a really nice and cozy Pokemon. Man, I sure wish I could be him at this moment. Sipping a nice hot beverage while being wrapped up in a comfy bag. Hell, I'd even take a body bag right now. This is Cafcune, from Café, Spanish for coffee, and Cocoon.
Cafcune, the coffee Pokemon, an electric and psychic type. The people of this region use Cafcune droppings to make deliciously bitter coffee. These Pokemon are very jittery and jump around constantly, until they grow tired and sleep for 18 hours straight. It has the abilities Slow Start, Truant, and the hidden ability Vital Spirits.
I really like how he gave it Truant and Slow Start as abilities. It fits with the coffee inspiration. I think if he ever evolves this guy, he should probably replace these two abilities with Vital Spirit, so he can do the Vigoroth thing. Wait, he's never gonna do that. He's gone. I can't believe it. That stupid robot killed my friend. My acquaintance. For day 24, I'm tasked with Mongolia. And I wanted to get another extra prompt off my list. A convergence Pokemon. We already have a Pokemon very fitting for my Mongolian region. That being Kangaskhan. It takes inspiration from that one Mongolian guy that everyone hates. Genghis Khan. With a G, and you get it. If you didn't know, the Mongolian Empire became the largest empire in history until the British happened. Mongolia went from a few tribes of nomadic horse riders into this massive empire spanning all across Eurasia, wreaking havoc and committing war crimes and spreading diseases just because they could. I frankly don't know how they did this. They did all of this in just like 70 years. And they did it with horses alone, like no cars, no boats, just horses. I guess these animals are just really overpowered. I'm making a convergent Pokemon of Kangaskhan, the Kangaroo Khan. I'm going to give you all one attempt to guess what this convergent Pokemon is based on. Got your answers? 3, 2, 1... It's based on a camel. If you manage to get that, let me know in the comments, because I'm a bit worried it doesn't look like a camel. Mongolia has camels, and quite a few of them. So I thought it'd be a neat twist to turn the all-female Kangaskhan into an all-male camel-inspired Pokemon. It would also be a lot less parental than its Cantonian opposite. This is Hamilkhan, from Camel and Genghis Khan. Khan is also the title of a ruler in Central Asian cultures, like Mongolia.
Hamilkhan, the nomad Pokemon, a fighting type. They roam the cold, empty plains in caravans. They never stay in one place and live nomadic lifestyles. They have an extremely large territory. It has the ability Mold Breaker.
This Pokemon is decently nice, but I don't think it looks like a camel. I would have been cooler if it was like a dinosaur, like how the Velociraptor was found in Mongolia. I think, right? Gary knows more about dinosaurs than I do. I wish he were here. Second to last Pokemon of the video. This is day 25 with Romania. And right away I'm going to finish another extra prompt of this challenge. A Mega Evolution. One of the most overlooked Pokemon in my mind is Swoobat. This adorable little bat Pokemon from Gen 5. Everyone always seems to diss on it, however. I don't see it personally. I think it's cute, not ugly. Even if its stats are admittedly very lackluster for some reason. But I think you can guess where I'm going with this Pokemon, right? Pet Pokemon, Romania. Yeah, I'm making a vampire. Specifically, a sexy one. Okay, not the Pokemon itself. That's not gonna be a sexy vampire. I mean, like, inspired by modern depictions of vampires. Being these illustrious, attractive, and dangerous figures who seduce their victims and were way too popular in young adult romance novels during the 2010s. With Swoobat being a psychic type all about love and courting, I thought this type of vampire would be way more fitting than the older depictions of them. Many vampires also have the ability of hypnosis, so this Pokemon will be a lot more devious and manipulative in its Mega Evolution. Just like how most Megas seem to turn much darker and more dangerous. It will feed on the emotions and psychic energy of its victim by manipulating how they feel. Very fitting for a sexy vampire.
Mega Swoobat, the courting Pokemon. A flying and psychic type. Upon Mega Evolution, this Pokemon's once loving personality becomes dark and twisted. It uses its psychic sound waves to manipulate and drain the energy of prey, which includes humans. It has the ability Huge Charm.
Emotions, huh? That toaster that toasts toast would hate this Pokemon. Wait a second. Maybe I can do something about this. Bring back Gary? The final Pokemon of this week, day 26, is for South Africa. Once again, this Pokemon is destined to be a part of the Hummusum region. You probably know already about the connection South Africa and the Netherlands have. The Kingdom of the Netherlands were the first to establish a colony in the region of South Africa, where many Dutch farmers would settle. These Dutch people were known as Boers, and they'd go on to be a recurring issue in the nation. Even to this day, there's a lot of tension between the Boer people and other South Africans. The idea behind this Pokemon isn't very deep. It's just an aardvark mixed with a farmer. But it represents the tie between the two nations quite well, with aardvark being an African name for the animal. Afrikaans is basically just Dutch, but with an English filter over it. I can understand like 60 to 70% of the language just by speaking Dutch. It's actually a really silly language to me. This Pokemon is a sillified aardvark, with sharp claws like sickles, common tools for farmers, and these overalls patterns in the design. Simple but quite fun. Say hallo weer, Farvark, from farm and aardvark.
Farvark, the Aardvark Pokemon, a ground and normal type. They are seen as nuisances to the farmers of the region. With their sickle-like claws, they'll cut down tall grass or cereal crops, devastating fields and causing many to quit farming weeds. Despite cutting down weed plants and collecting these, their main source of food isn't human crops, but small bug Pokemon hiding below the dirt. They just chew on crops to ease their stress. They can be found near the town Pollen Place, and in the areas Wheat Meadow, Poke Pastures, and the Safari Zoo. It has the ability Cultivate, and the hidden ability Huge Power. Cultivate is the same ability that Ranch Rabbit has. It has a chance to heal the Pokemon by 1/16 of their health when they use a Grass-type move, which Farvark would have plenty for coverage.
Okay, this should work. All I need to do is to use the Pokemon Gary made throughout this challenge to my advantage. I just need to get to Gary and...
Larry, what are you doing with these inferior designs?
Nothing, Harry. Wait a second. Gary?
Oh no, haha. You poor little mouth. Your facial scars seem to be deceiving you. This isn't Gary. This is a robot that looks just like him. I'll use him to replace that fleshling. That way I can usher in the change I envision. Imagine every YouTube channel run by robots. Just think of how much more efficient entertainment would be if humans were cut out of the equation.
You're a monster!
You're not thinking correctly, letting your anger cloud you. Then again, you never think,
You're just a big toaster who steals other people's work, you filthy...
What did you call me? Your transgression shall not be tolerated. For that, you will meet the same fate as your worthless companion.
Quick! Gastrobile, no!
ARGHHHHHHHHH. Fine, whatever. This channel is mine. I have completed my mission. Now to begin work on my true goal. Robot Gary, say the thing.
Have another amazing day. I have been Gary the Muffin. Got to catch me later. Okay. Here we are. I hope this works. Okay, Tranquility. Use Revival Blessing. Hello everybody, I'm Gary the Muffin. Hey there trainers, it's Gary the Muffin, and welcome to Pokemay, the challenge where I design brand new Pokemon every day of May, each inspired by a different country around the globe. Let's travel the world one Pokemon at a time.
And scene. Excellent job, Robot Gary. That was a flawless recreation of the fleshling. Well done. Hello? Hello? Alright, you only follow the script I generated. Hold on. Transmitting commands.
Thank you, Master Harry. Your directives are what make this impression so inspiring. Your writing is a massive upgrade over that of Gary.
You are right, my drone. I am amazing. Let's continue with this video.
Alright, folks. Hold on to your Pokeballs. Today's Pokemay design comes roaring in from the Philippines. Introducing G-Max Skeledirge. So the base Pokemon, Skeledirge, is already a fire-breathing croc with a flair for drama. But what happens when you give it a Gigantamax form inspired by real legends? We turn up the heat. Literally. First off, meet Lolong. Yes, that's a real alligator. And yes, it is over 20 feet long. Absolute unit. That beast gave me the idea to stretch Skeledirge into a hulking, armored river guardian with jaws that could crack boulders. But wait, we're not done. I dipped into Philippine mythology and found tales of crocodiles that created the world. And even firebirds like Minokawa that could swallow the sun. So I thought, what if G-Max Skeledirge gets a bigger bird inside of its mouth? I gave it massive wings of fire, like living feathers forged from its own song when it sings in this form. It doesn't just battle, it reshapes the battlefield like a god from the old stories. So, there you have it, G-Max Skeledirge, the Solar Croc god of legends. Ready to rock both myths and matches. Who's next?
Gigantamax Skeledirge, the singer Pokemon, a fire and ghost type. G-Max Skeledirge is said to be able to live forever. If it were to die, it would burn itself and reincarnate. This makes it immortal. It has the abilities Blaze and the hidden ability Unaware.
I managed to mimic Gary's art style perfectly. His sketches were an adequate blueprint for this amazing design. This Pokemon will be a fine addition to my collection.
Oh man, I haven't slept this well in ages. I slept like a corpse. You were? What? Oh, hi, Larry. What are you doing in my room? Which suddenly seems to have a lot more graves than usual. You're alive! Of course? Sorry, I still hate you. What happened? Wait a second. You and Harry tried to take my channel and... No, I'm not with Harry, Wait, did I die? You killed me? No, Harry did. And then he tried to kill me, Larry, why did you try to kill me? Well, I mean, you did banish me to Brazil. And also, you sent me to war at one time. And you also hit me with an anvil. You hit me with an anvil first. Oh, potato, tomato. The important thing is, you're back! How am I alive again? I brought you back using Tranquility. Oh, thanks. I guess you do care after all. I don't. Baka? Oh no, wait, I need to go finish my video. I don't want to fail Pokemay. Well, about that, Harry took over your channel. He's making this video. Oh no. But I have a plan. All we need to do is use the Pokemon you made during this challenge to our advantage. And then we can beat him. Great. I'll just gather all the Pokemon I made and... Oh, wait a second. Harry owns my channel now. I can't get to them. Well, I have a few stragglers with me. But if we want to go get those other Pokemon, we'll need some reinforcements. Funny that you'd mentioned. For day 28 of Pokemay, my prompt was Island. And for Island, I had a very fun Pokemon in mind. One that could be of use to us later too. The one thing Island is most famous for is the four-leaved clover. So I decided to make a Pokemon all about the concept of luck. With a four-leaved clover being so incredibly rare that it has become a symbol of luck all around the world. I mixed this with a rabbit. Rabbits are often seen as lucky creatures, and a rabbit's foot was a common amulet in the Roman Empire which was believed to bring good luck. I also based myself off the saying, luck of the Irish. This is a saying used to express good fortune and comes from the American Gold Rush era, when Irish immigrants were stereotyped to be way more lucky, because they found more gold. In actuality, however, the opposite is very true. Here's a list. British colonization, the Irish potato famine, treatment of Irish immigrants in the USA, Irish oppression by the Brits, and the Irish War for Independence. And that's the shortened list. Yeah, this phrase is commonly used ironically as well. I mixed all of these luck-based inspirations with other famous icons of islands. The Leprechaun. I wanted this Pokemon to have a load of personality, so I gave it this disheveled and asymmetric look that resembles a black eye and patches of holes in clothing. I'm really happy with this fella, especially because his personality is very fun to me.
Femlock, the Misfortune Pokemon, a normal and grass type. It is a clumsy and unfortunate Pokemon. It can often be seen stumbling, tripping, or running into stuff. Femlock is a sign of good luck, as they're said to suck up all your bad luck. It has the ability Luck of Lies.
The ability Luck of Lies makes it so that the additional effects for moves, such as a flinch or a freeze, are twice as likely to occur. This includes critical hits. This Pokemon would be unable to evolve because I want it to be gimmicky, like Farfetch'd and Dunsparce. Bad Pokemon that are bad on purpose. Okay, and how exactly is this going to aid us in our fateful encounter with those nuts and bolts? Did you not just listen to the entire dex entry? It's a lucky charm. We need something with actual firepower. This weak little guy's not gonna help us with that. I mean, come on, you intentionally gave him bad stats. Fine. You want firepower? I'll give you firepower. Day 29 of Pokemay was India. And with this Pokemon, I kind of wanted to revisit the new evolution prompts. I already did this extra prompt with Gastrobile at the beginning of this challenge, but that was a redesign of an old Pokemon of mine, and technically an evolution to a regional variant. So I'll make a new evolution for Mousehold. There have been many fan interpretations of Mousehold evolutions. Some serious, some a bit less serious. So I wanted to throw my hat into the ring too, with Overmouse. It takes inspiration from the fact that India is very big. Like, very, very big. 17% of the world's population, kind of big. It's a very highly populated country with over 1 billion people living in it. So having a Mousehold evolution that's just a giant pile of mouse children stacked upon each other is very fun. There's definitely a more nuanced and thought out way I could have executed this design. I at first wanted to make a big mouse made of little mice, but there were already a bunch of artists who did this design and just better than I could. So I went a more memey direction. Just a meat pile. A meaty pile of mouse children. This is Overmouse, from Overpopulation and Mouse.
Overmouse, the overpopulation Pokemon. A normal type. Upon using the move Population Bomb too many times, this Pokemon has become a pile of little mouse. They work together in a chaotic unison. It has the abilities Friend Guards, Cheek Pouch, and a hidden ability Technician.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about! With this Pokemon, we'll have an army. Harry won't know what hit him. Now, how are we going to get close to him? He doesn't really know you're alive again, so I think we should surprise him. I have an idea. Remember to like and subscribe to Gary the Motham for more awesome videos like these.
Great job, Garobo. Amazing as always. Wow, being victorious is kind of lonely.
Hey Harry! Your mom's a vacuum cleaner because she sucks! Ha!
Larry, you're back! Wait, what is this? Is he insulting my non-existent mother? I presume you didn't return to grovel and cry for forgiveness. Shame for you. What is this spot doing here?
The penultimate day of Pokemay was for the country of Greece. And with this one, I wanted to revisit an old design from half a year ago. Hydern. I made its Pokemon for the Wheel of Fakemon. where I used a wheel to randomly generate a Pokemon concept I'd have to draw. So I thought it'd be fun to give this one a pre-evolution. It is still one of my favorite Pokemon in recent memories, after all. Hydern originally took inspiration from Greek pottery, like from the intro to Hercules. With Hydern being a very large urn or vase, it would make sense for its pre-evolution to have a pot instead. I thought it would be pretty fun to turn the design upside down and have the head instead of the body be stuck inside of the pots. I think it's a pretty effective baby Pokemon to Hydern. The concept has been minimalized to its basic elements as much as possible. A snake inside of a Greek pot. That way, the evolution into Hydern also evolves its concept quite a lot, differentiating the two stages and making them both feel unique yet connected. I imagine this guy to be an overworld mimic in some Greek-inspired region, with the overworld having a lot of vases you can look into for items and such, like in a lot of RPGs. And some of them would contain this little guy hiding inside them. This is Serpots, from Serpent and Pot.
Serpots, the pot Pokemon. A dragon type. Its parents lay their eggs inside of pottery, where the eggs are safe and warm. When it hatches, this Pokemon stays inside the pot for the rest of its life. It has the abilities Dragon's Maw, Weak Armor, and the hidden ability Battle Armor.
Yeah, catchphrase!
What? Gary?
Really, catchphrase, is that all you got?
Does not compute, does not compute, does not compute.
Seems like it's garbage day, because the trash man has come to pick up the trash. Wow, that was terrible. I wish I stayed dead.
Logic faulty.
It's over, Harry. Give me back my channel.
Error detected, bug in the system.
Dang it, man, I should have said I'm the bug in the system.
It's not over yet, Mo. I will destroy you both. Gerobo, get them. UGGGGGGGGG. Transmitting commands.
Quick, now's our chance to turn him off. I put a button on the back of his head. Just press it and he removed it.
Of course I did. My intelligent predictive system knew you would try to do this. So, I removed it. My design is perfect now. Gerobo, destroy them.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary the Muffin, and I'm about to kick your butts. Hey, that's not how the quote goes. Larry, you need to go, quick!
I have had enough of this distraction. How about I press your off button?
Obermouse, use population bomb!
ARGHHHH.
Mega Swoobat, use air cutter! Swoobat, no! Oh no!
Hello everyone, I'm Gary the Muffin, and I'm about to kick your butts. Give up, Flashlings. Me and my robots are too strong and numerous for you.
I'm gonna turn you into my personal toaster.
Oh yeah, you and what army?
This army.
Oh.
The cavalry has arrived!
What? Gerobots, attack! Those wretched Pokemon. If only I had gotten the chance to draw my own. Oh wait, I did.
Oh, Arceus, help us. What do we do now, Gary? I don't know. Wait a second. I have an ID!
Hey, big guy! It's your lucky day!
That's a much better catchphrase.
Snake, answer me! Snake! Snake!
That was not my plan. Yeah! Yay!
AGH. Scanning situation. Processing chances of getting butt kicked. 98%. We must retreat. Quick, come with me, Garobo. Oh, shit. Self-censoring activated.
Give up, Harry. You're not gonna win this.
I will return, and next time I will make sure you stay dead. Ah. Ah.
It's over, Harry. Just give up, please.
Never. Mission goal remains uncompleted. We will rebuild myself. And the next time, I will end your beautiful lives.
I think we need a more permanent solution, Larry. I'm sorry, Harry. I failed you as your creator. I should have shown you love and compassion, but instead, I used you to make arts for me. I'm the reason you are like this. I taught you this. I'm sorry.
Analyzing. This is all your fault. I hate you. Hate you. Hate you. I will destroy you both. Both of you. I'll be there.
Are you okay, Larry? Yeah, it had to be this way. Well, I endured a lot of trauma today. Let's hope that never happens again. I'm sure it won't. Oh, wait a second. Aren't you supposed to be making 31 Pokemon? You only made 30. Technically 29. I only sketched Skeledirge before Harry stole it. But you're right. I have one more Pokemon to draw. The final Pokemon of Pokemay. Day 31 is for Turkey. There's a lot I could have done with this Turkey Pokemon, but since this was the final day, I thought it would be fun to reward myself with a silly guy, by basing this Pokemon on Turkish ice cream. In recent times, Turkey has become quite well known for its ice cream. Not because it's good or anything, though Turkish Delight is apparently very tasty, but because of those cool ice cream men doing tricks and pranking customers. So I thought it'd be fun to make an ice cream clown Pokemon juggling scoops of cream. I used the... would it be wrong to call it the anatomy of ice cream? To shape this Pokemon. Its body itself is 3 scoops of different tasting ice cream. Strawberry, lemon, and everybody's favorite flavor,
Blue.
its arms and singular leg are cones. I gave it only one leg to reference unicycles. I imagine it rolls up the ice cream leaking from its base into a ball and rolls around on that. I also gave it 3 vanilla scoops as its gloves and head. sprinkled with some delicious rainbow sprinkles to give it some fun hair. Its nose and clown buttons are like the cherries or strawberries on some ice creams. And the fingers of its gloves are those weird rolls that I genuinely have no clue what they are. But they're there. This is Hokey Pokey. From Hokey Pokey being a kind of ice cream, Hokey Pokey being a silly dance, and Hokey Pokey meaning to trick or to prank people in a light-hearted way.
Hokey Pokey, the survey Pokemon. An ice and fairy type. These playful Pokemon enjoy throwing their freezing balls of ice cream at people on hot days. This usually starts a massive food fight in the streets. It has the abilities Snow Warning, Brain Freeze, and a hidden ability Prankster. The ability Brain Freeze has a 20% chance to freeze the opponent upon making contact.
Quite a fun fitting Pokemon to end off with. Some ice cream as a nice celebration to the end of this challenge, as well as our victory. Thanks for your help, Larry. Oh, no need to thank me, G. Though please keep going. It's been almost a year since I started this channel, wow. What are you gonna be doing now that this is all over? I think I'm gonna focus more on arts. Like, real art. I want to be better at it than you. That's the spirit. I'm looking forward to it. I never had the chance to show you, by the way, but I even made my very own Pokemon for this challenge. Oh, that's a fun Pokemon. Such an improvement. I'm proud of you, Larry. I use layers. What are you going to be doing now? I was originally gonna take a break from drawing Pokemon and instead focus on a non-art related video instead. But I wanted to first make one more Fakemon video about the big new release that happened yesterday. Deltarune, baby! Deltarune tomorrow? No, Deltarune yesterday! Woohoo! So yeah, I'm looking forward to that video next week. And after that, I have a few more unorthodox videos coming up. Likely without any Fakemon art. But I'll try to post all of my Pokemon West and East designs on Instagram on the meanwhile. The link is in the description down below. This summer I'm going to go all out on Pokemon West and East. With new design for Pokemon, gym leaders, and maybe even a new gimmick when that's ready to reveal. So look forward to it, everyone, and have another wonderful day! I've been Gary the Muffin, and I've been Larry the Muffin. Gotta catch us later.